My name is Heather Rodriguez. I'm a natural fertility specialist, and my team and I help couples who are preparing for pregnancy and those overcoming fertility issues and wanting to have healthier pregnancies. So today's fertility scope is going to be all about organics, why it's important for fertility and pregnancy, and how to get started. Because I know I've heard from a lot of you, where do we get started? There's so many different things that we need to do. Good morning, Tamara. Good morning, Elena. Awesome. Oh my gosh, yeah. So Christina, I just got back from my vacation. My family went to Palm Springs. Good morning, Nazar. Hi. And we went to Palm Springs last week. I took the whole week off, Monday through Thursday off, like completely off, unplugged. Didn't do anything, which is rare for me. I don't think I've taken a vacation where I didn't work for years, and it was wonderful. We went hiking, we hung by the pool. It was fantastic. So thanks for asking. New woman. So yeah, everybody needs a vacation for sure. Thank you. Aw, that's so sweet. Okay, so today's topic is going to be organics, why it's important for fertility and for pregnancy, and then also some really practical tips on how to get started, how to make it affordable. So this is a really important topic. Thank you. This is a really important topic because it can have a huge impact, and it's something that you have complete control over. It's something that you can do for yourself. So I'm first going to cover, we're going to get geeky at first. You know that I like to do that, where we bring in some science, we bring in some reasons, and I do have notes, of course, just so you can kind of see and understand why it's so important. Because it's so easy to just say, you need to eat organic. It's so easy to say, oh, you need to eat healthy, but how practical is that unless it really sinks in, right? Oh, great, you're using elderberry. That, I swear, okay, just a little side note before we get started, I make an elderberry tea with my immune extract and elderberry syrup, and it's like a bomb. If you feel like someone around you is sick and you're afraid of getting sick, it works unbelievably. So anyways, that's what she was talking about. Okay, so the first one is there's a lot of different reasons that you want to, oh great, there's a couple different reasons you want to eat organic, but I'm going to talk about how they pertain specifically to fertility and pregnancy. There's many reasons for many different health reasons to eat organic, but as it pertains specifically. So the first is going to be, this has been scientifically shown, there is more antioxidants and antioxidant activity in organic produce versus conventional. What this means to you is this is going to help support and protect egg health and sperm health. So there was a study done in 2015 in the British Journal of Nutrition that showed, it analyzed 343 studies, so it gathered all this information. It is a correlative study that showed that foods that were organically grown and diets where people were eating predominantly organic had more antioxidant activity as if they were eating 1 to 2 more portions of fruits and vegetables per day, even though they were eating the same amount. Just because those choices were organic, they had the equivalency as if they had eaten 1 or 2 more pieces of fruit or veggies a day because of how much more antioxidant activity was in that food. So I thought that was pretty cool. The second reason is that it's going to help to protect brain and nervous development of your baby. So when the fetus is developing, when the baby's growing in your body, it is so sensitive to everything that doesn't have the barriers built up that help to protect the brain from toxins and different things in our environment. So one of your jobs as the incubator, as mommy, is to help protect that very fragile developing brain and developing nervous system. And the unfortunate thing is that it's been found that 80% of produce have a pesticide called organophosphorus, OP for short. Thank you. And this has been known to be neurotoxic to developing fetuses. And this is found on 80% of, it's found that 80% of OPs come from the pesticides on produce. So when you're pregnant, it's also really important because what you're consuming can cross into your growing baby. So there was a study done in 2011 where there was an effect on the cognitive and behavioral development of children of parents who consumed this pesticide. So they're starting to do more research into this, thinking it might be a link for ADD, ADHD, because their bodies and their brains are not mature enough to protect themselves from these types of toxins. And this is just one that's found in pesticides that are sprayed. So it's just definitely something to think about. If this is the only time in your life that you eat organic or that you cut back on finances so you can, preconception care and then during pregnancy is huge. The third one is that it's going to give you the ability to skirt around GMOs. The only way currently to not eat or GMO food is to buy organic. That is the only way to know you're not actually getting GMO foods. So, and we'll cover that, how to find these foods in just a second. And so with GMO foods, they're not labeling them yet. Yes, Whole Foods in the next couple of years is requiring every single product that they carry to be certified non-GMO, which I think is awesome because it's forcing these companies to get the testing and yada yada. But the easiest way to avoid it currently is to just shop organic. And GMO foods, we have a lot of articles on this on the website. I've talked about it before, but there's definitely links to it, to affecting fertility, affecting the health of our children. And we just kind of don't know how far it's going to go. So I'm not here to be like freak out or anything, but just eating organic, that's one of the benefits. The other is to protect your hormonal health. So pesticides and GMO foods, specifically pesticides, we know can have a specific hormonal mimicking effect on the body. So when you're eating conventionally raised meats, dairies, a lot of these hormones, they actually add hormones to those animals so they grow quicker, they make more milk, etc. You're actually eating that. Especially when you're eating the meat, you're eating the milk, hormones are concentrated in fatty areas of the body. So if this animal's been eating, it's been injected with growth hormone per se, and then they've also been eating genetically modified corn, and then they also have antibiotics on that corn. So there's a lot going on there that you can avoid by eating free-range, grass-fed, organic meats. And we will talk about price in a second. I totally got that point. But they can mimic, besides actually being hormones in your system, they can also mimic, the pesticides can mimic hormones within, they're called xenoestrogens, or they're called hormone disruptors. There's a lot of different names for them. They can actually go into your body and act like an estrogen. So what happens is you end up having too much estrogen action in your body, and that can throw your progesterone out of balance. For men, it can affect their testosterone levels, and this directly, definitely can affect fertility. So all of these points that I've made take one action, which I think is so cool. And it's one that's actually really enjoyable, because who does not like food? Hey, Houston, H-Town. So those are some of the major benefits. More nutrition, avoiding pesticides and toxins that can definitely affect the development, the neurological development of your baby. And then we've also got to protect your hormonal health and to reduce the consumption of GMOs. Okay, so those are some of the main points. And then also for men, it definitely affects men. There was a study that found that men who consume pesticides in their foods, which is going to be foods that are sprayed or there's hormones added to the meats, they were found 10 times more likely to have low sperm count. So there's definitely many pesticides that are being tested for this. There's a direct correlation to the big drop that we have in sperm count in correlation to when we started using Roundup, which is really, really sad. But anyways, knowledge is power, and here are some solutions, right? So we can see some of the scientific reasons that eating organic is healthier. Now, how do you do it? Where do you start? It can be overwhelming, because do you just throw everything out of your fridge? Do you just go to the store and just start buying everything organic? Organics can be more expensive, but there's definitely ways of making it affordable. The first is to cook your own food. Organic produce, getting everything from its whole state is going to be a lot less expensive than buying the processed foods or buying the organic junk foods. I'm totally guilty of it. But those things are what ends up being more expensive. So if you're eating organic fruits and veggies, you're eating lentils. Lentils are amazing for fertility, nuts and seeds, organic meats, eggs, those types of foods. It's going to be less expensive than you're buying the prepackaged superfood. You can buy these things that are like $20, $30 a bag for goji berries. I love goji berries. They're great for fertility. But if you're trying to shop organic on a budget, you don't have to go there. You can just start with the organic produce. But there's a kind of a tier also of what's most important to get organic. So I'm going to kind of go through that with you. The first is going to be dairy. So dairy, I think, dairy meats are going to be the most important thing. So if you have to choose where to start, that's where I would start, because it's going to be most concentrated in those foods. With dairy, we've got, like I said before, we've got the cow who's eating The corn, which may be genetically modified, which also has been sprayed with produce and also has been has pesticides for growing. Then that cow's also given hormones. So what happens when that cow's eating that day in, day out, it's growing, it's getting bigger. Over time, it's concentrating. And then that milk is going to have a lot of those compounds in it because milk is so high in fat. Also it's the same story for meat. So the best thing to do is to focus on 100% grass-fed, which has amazing essential fatty acid benefits. There's great benefits to actually eating 100% grass-fed meats. You can get hormone and antibiotic free. That's like another level. And then you can also get meats that are fed non-GMO feed. So there's a lot of different levels of meats. One great thing, it depends on where you live, but like where I live here, there's a lot of ranchers. There's a lot of different hunters, wild game. You can go that direction as well. You can also go organic. I'm not saying you have to go organic for fertility. It's just an option. But I eat meat, but I don't eat it unless I'm getting it from these sources. So I might not eat it as often, or like when I go out to eat, a lot of times I will actually eat fish option, or I will eat vegetarian. Sorry. Okay, so those top two. Then the other areas are going to be, we're going to kind of get into the dirty dozen here, but it's going to be corn, soybeans, zucchini, yellow squash, canola, sugar beets, papaya, cottonseed oil. So those are the highest risk GMO foods. I know a lot of you don't think you eat cottonseed oil, but if you eat an In-N-Out burger, you're eating cottonseed oil. It's just kind of snuck into a lot of different things. Great. And then corn and soybeans, those are the most GMO foods on the planet currently. I think it was like the last statistic I read was 95% of soybeans are GMO. Yeah, so organic milk from the store would be okay option for milk. Depending on what's going on with you for fertility, there's also the question of consuming milk, like if you're going through endometriosis, or it's a whole nother topic. But yes. So those are like the major ones: corn, soybeans, zucchini, yellow squash, canola, sugar beets. Sugar beets, I know that sounds funny because you're probably like, I don't eat sugar beets, but if you're eating foods that have sugar added to them, a lot of time it's sugar from beets. Just so you know. Nothing to freak out about, but just choices, educated choices. And there's soybean oil in a ton of foods. Salad dressings. It's very hard to find a salad dressing without soybean oil in it, I found. Okay, so dirty dozen produce. You can look this up online and just print it off and put it on your fridge. There's an app for it. There's like an app for everything. There's an app for it. So apples, celery, cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, grapes, hot peppers, nectarines, peaches, potatoes, all leafy greens, berries, and sweet bell peppers. So to make this really simple, you guys tell me, what do all those foods have in common? Because you don't have to memorize them if you just kind of think about what do apples, celery, cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, grapes, peppers, nectarines, peaches, what do all those foods have in common? Yes, exactly. Thin skin. These are the dirty dozen. The grown above ground, that's another great point, except for the potatoes, they're mostly a little bit underground. Great. Good sight, Tiffany. Thank you. That is a good sight. Yeah, so they're thin-skinned. So you're going to be eating the skin of these. So that's, instead of having to necessarily print out a list, just think, am I going to be eating the skin of this? Like, for instance, avocados. It's nice to get them organic, but not as necessary because their skin is so thick. Bananas, nice to get organic, but not as necessary because you're not eating the skin. So that can simplify it for you if you're going to be eating the skin. I don't know how much washing. Yes, you should wash your produce. Yeah, like melons, not so much. But melons from Mexico, they might be spraying some crazy stuff. Anyways, what was I going to say? Oh, I forgot what I was going to say about that. Oh, well. So that's just an easy thing to do when you're going to the store. Am I going to eat the skin of this or not? Kind of a way to make your choices. Oh, washing veggies. Thank you. Thank you. So washing veggies, I don't know if you guys know. I haven't done a lot of research on it, but how much does washing veggies take pesticides off of it? I wonder. Also, since the veggie is consuming, the water, and that's what it's made of, is that taking it into its cells? I don't know the extent of it. I don't know how much washing them can make a difference. Of course, you should wash your produce, but I just kind of wonder. Okay, so, and then you also have to remember they're spraying pesticides on the foods. And how a lot of pesticides work is they actually stop the critters that are eating them from reproducing. It breaks down their reproductive system. Some of them work as birth control for these insects. So it's actually the way that they're killing them isn't necessarily like, oh, I got sprayed by pesticide. I'm the bug right now. I got sprayed by pesticide. I'm dying. It's actually causing them to not be able to reproduce. There's a lot of other things that it's doing. So I find it very interesting, pesticides and insecticides, how they work. So I don't think, for that reason, we shouldn't be consuming them as much as possible. The next is going to be eggs, pastured eggs and chickens fed on an organic diet. You know, it's kind of redundant now. And then from there, those are the most important things. So the fattier, the more condensed of a food it is, the more important it's going to be, to simplify, and if you're eating the skin of it. So that's my spiel for today. I just wanted to hopefully inspire and bring some information to you about organic, so that when you're shopping, knowing that that's one of the things you have control over, that you can make an impact on your fertility because what you're avoiding is just as important as what you're putting into your body, especially for egg health, for protecting DNA, for making sure that's all intact so we're producing healthy children, and then also into pregnancy, it being really important as well. All right, guys, well, I'm going to get going. I got some work to do. But I just want to say hi. I wanted to share today's topic. I'm glad you all are doing well. Thank you so much for joining me. And again, for those of you who are new, thank you so much. You can check us out at naturalfertilityinfo.com. All right. Hope you have a good day. Bye.